Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. Now, this is a little bit delayed because I was just waiting for one or two items to appear. But I'm going to show you all the stuff and the swag and the things that I was able to obtain at Adepticon and beyond. So, we start off with my beautiful little name badge here. So if anyone walking around wasn't sure who I was, they just had to look down, round about my belly button region, and I would have been instantly identified. So let's get that out of the way, shall we? That's going to be hanging up on my wall, I think, for years to come. Let's look at some more of the free stuff that came in the swag bag, shall we? The star attraction of the swag bag this year was a starter box from Privateer Press. In my case, it was the Signar Battle Group for War Machine. It's a little bit light. They're not currently inside the box because I've already been assembling them. So, that is actually worth more than I paid for the swag bag on its own. So, all the stuff that comes next was just a nice bonus. So, let's see what did come next, shall we? We have a Cobalt. I have no idea if you were able to see that from there, so let's just bring it closer. There we go. I believe this is Super Dungeon Explore. So yeah, I don't think I can do much with it on its own. Maybe one day I'll have a use for it. Let's move him out of the way. Next, this is from Victoria Miniatures, I believe, with their line of totally not Imperial Guard females. So, very nice. The next one, I have no idea what it is. It didn't have any bit of paper attached to it or anything. It just came on its own in a little bag. So if anyone can help me identify what this is, and what system it's from, that would be very nice. Next, there are a couple of stickers in there which I haven't used yet. One from geeknationtours.com and one Blue Table Painting. I'm sure I'll stick them somewhere when I find somewhere suitable to put them. Next, there are several publications. First of all, Dust Tactics. The rule book, as far as I can tell. I don't know if it's the full rule book, but it seems to be quite extensive. I've never played this game. Maybe at some point. It'll certainly help having the rule book. Then a couple of magazines. War Games, Soldiers and Strategy. I haven't really looked through this too much. It seems to be more of a historical type thing, which typically doesn't interest me as much, but I'll probably give it a look through at some point. Next, that almost went on the floor. Next we have this, and is that called Ravage? Tabletop Gaming Magazine. Yeah, it's got a lot of things in here that I'd never heard of before, so probably quite focused on board games and that kind of business. Yeah, pretty interesting. Some nice pictures in there. Haven't really looked through that one too much either yet. I'm sure I will at some point. That one almost went onto the floor too. I need to stop just sliding things across the table when I finish with them, don't I? Next, there is a Horus heresy book. Angel Exterminatus, Flesh and Iron, by Graham McNeil. I've never read any of the books in this series. I've never particularly had an interest in the Horus heresy at all. So maybe if I read this, I'll be drawn in like everyone else seems to be. Unlikely, but we shall see. Now, what else came in the swag bag? I believe there was actually a Blue Table Painting pen, which never made it out of Chicago. I do not know where that is at all. Next, there is this. A Badger Airbrush Company paint. I can't even read what it says because the lettering is so Odd Steinres. Water-based acrylic polyurethane, easy application, surface primer. I haven't tested it out yet, but if I do, I'll let you know how it works out. Then, there are a few other free things that I managed to obtain while I was there. There was this delicious bookmark for a Malifaux event in California. I think the closest I'll get to it is just by looking at the bookmark on the 7th of June, unfortunately. And I believe this dice as well is in some way affiliated with that. It's quite a delicious dice, can't argue with that. Next, free stuff. At one of the vendors, if you will, there were some free gifts. And I got this, it looks like some kind of, I think it's a joystick kind of pendant. So, yeah, and also this piece of, let's just say alien elf-like terrain from Wargammer. We'll go back to them in a couple of minutes because I've got something else from that particular company. Something else that was free was this Roll For It game that I haven't tried yet. Now, technically I won this in, it was a raffle I suppose. It was International Tabletop Day during Adepticon, and there were some prizes being given away in the evening in one of the rooms, and I won that. I haven't actually tried it yet, so I'll let you know if it's any good when I do get round to testing it out. Now, I think that's pretty much it for free stuff, unfortunately. So let's move on to things that I actually paid something for. So, I mentioned Wargammer a minute ago, and I could not pass by without picking up a set of their lava pools, because I've tried to make, not exactly the same as this, but I've tried to make kind of liquid pools and lakes and whatnot, and it always looks terrible. And it takes me way too much time for how bad it looks in the end. So I thought, why not just spend the very reasonable amount that these cost and just have them? So yeah, I just need to get those painted, and then I've got a bit more terrain. Multi-purpose as well, because a lot of my terrain is heavily fantasy geared, like hills and forests and such. So that'll be useful for various different game systems. And in the swag bag there was a 10% off secret weapon products coupon, if you will, or voucher for those of us who would not use the word coupon. So I got this little bag of tank traps, which are kind of gothic looking, so 40k-ish, dare I say. So I can make some terrain for that, since I only have about 2 pieces really in total. And actually there's a few more things from the swag bag that I forgot, nothing too interesting. There were just a lot of advertising things, little business cards and such. Actually this one, interesting story with that. Don't forget to stop by our booth and get your free miniature. Yeah, so I totally missed that at the time. There was just so much stuff in here, and a lot of it didn't really offer you anything, so I ended up just putting them in a pile. So a couple of them that actually were offering me something I just completely missed. So yeah, nothing too exciting there. Now, a couple of other things that I bought. I stopped by the old Mantic booth, if you will. The Skitter Sneak Steelers are the last of the Season 1 teams that I don't own, and since I end up teaching a lot of people how to play, I think it's good to have the full range of teams from the original season, so they get a nice bit of variety in the learning game. So I'm painting them at the moment. And then also from Mantic, This is a big one. No, don't zoom that way. Deadzone. Yeah, so I've opened it and just had a quick look inside. I haven't done much with it yet. I'm sure you'll see more of this in future videos though. I know at least a couple of people who want to start playing this. Most notably Mr. Pezapu, who's already painted a lot of his stuff. So I'm sure he's going to be coming around for a game at some point. So, stay tuned for that. Slide that out the way. Okay, now I'm going to show you all the delicious clothing that I obtained while at Adepticon. First of all, we have this wonderfully stylish WGC t-shirt. Badger, of course. And on the back, very high quality. No expense spared by the WGC, apparently. Next, we have the official Adepticon 2014 t-shirt. The nice little logo up there, and then on the back, look at that. That is quite beastly, isn't it? So yeah, had to grab one of these suckers. Next, we have this Greedy High School t-shirt, which was given to me by the delightful Mr. Coach. So yeah, not much more to say about that one. Delicious. Then we have the Wargamer Girl t-shirt in grey. Would have been better if they came in orange, but you know, you can't have everything. As you can see, very stylish. Again, this one seems to be very good quality. I'm thinking maybe I should do a similar t-shirt. Same kind of thing, just with my head spliced on there. I think that'd sell millions. Anyway, moving on. Now, the following things have nothing to do with Adepticon, or maybe these kind of do. Yeah, they do a bit. These Arcane Factory miniatures. It's a WGC brand, don't you know? So we've got the Bertha and Christina. I think this is a pretty cool one. Look at that, two guns like that. I'm sure people have seen pictures of these around all over Facebook lately, so I won't dwell on those too much. I'll show you a bit more if I get them assembled and painted in the future. And actually, yeah, I might as well show you this as well. Nothing to do with miniatures or anything, but while I was in Chicago, I did actually visit the Lincoln Park Zoo and got this delicious keyring. If it'll focus nicely on that for you. There we go, and it's got little animals hanging off it. Isn't that adorable? Now then, the following stuff definitely has nothing to do with Adepticon. Now, I've been able to lay my hands on a rulebook for Relics, which I'm going to start to play at some point with Spud and Dan and Pezapu. You can tell that's a new book. You could just hear that opening for the first time, couldn't you? That is quite delicious. And also, I've got... Well, when it came to choosing a faction, really the only thing I needed to see was orange dice, which turned out to be for the Newem, I'm going to assume that's pronounced, faction. So yeah, I've got just one or two models, just a couple, nothing too serious, just a few. Yeah, so quite a lot really. So I need to get those assembled and painted as well at some point, adding to the massed amount of stuff I have on the go at one time. And I believe... Oh no, that's not everything. Hold on, I forgot something because it was over at the painting table. So, bear with me just a moment. So as I was walking around Adepticon, I thought, well, you know what, I'm into enough games already, really. Already a couple of new ones on the horizon. I'm not really too interested in picking up another one urgently. So I was just looking around for any model that might catch my eye, just to have something to paint for a change, just a one-off model, because I don't often do that. And I was looking at the Helldorado section, and I spotted this quite delightful looking crocodile dude. Crocodile or alligator, I'm not sure, in the cabinet. So I confirmed that this was him, and then I purchased it. Still in pieces at the moment because I'm going to be pinning it, since it's all metal. So you're definitely going to be seeing some more of this, because if I'm going to put the time in and actually paint something just for the sake of painting it, then I'm going to try and make it at least half decent. And then if it is half decent, there's no way I'm not going to bombard Facebook with it for about 3 months. So you'll be seeing plenty of that, I imagine. And that concludes all the stuff that I have acquired recently. So, keep your eyes peeled, keep your ears peeled. You don't necessarily need to keep your nose peeled, because smell doesn't particularly travel well through the internet. But the other senses, yes, do keep them peeled, because you'll be seeing more of all of this stuff very soon. Ta-ta for now.